What is a game without boss fights? An unstructured mess usually, especially when the game we're talking about is a Mario game. Imagine playing a Mario game, going from level to level, and then at some point the credits just roll, no boss fights at all. Let's talk about that, a top 5 Mario boss fights. Just to be sure, I'll only look at platforming games here, so while the Mario and Luigi series has a good amount of fun bosses, they won't be on here. Maybe they'll get their own list at some point. The Boulder Guys, Mario Galaxy. Starting off this list we have an entry that's mostly here because of aesthetics. I just like the concept and the idea of this guy, a dark shadowy ghost hiding inside a rock formation. At the end of the day, this is just a variation on the hit the hands boss fight, which Nintendo is well known for. Pretty much every Mario game has some version of this, but Mario Galaxy gives us the Boulder Geist. Of course there is some build up, he doesn't have hands to start out with. Maybe to give us the impression he's not a "look, I'm a face with floating hands" boss of this game. Anyway, the build up in this fight is very well done. The curve is noticeable enough to make you feel the difficulty go up with each time you hit him, but not so difficult to make it unfair. He also creates walls of stone which you have to break to get to safety, and lastly, he also summons black boos. The black boos are different from normal ones. When you spin close to them, you grab them by the tongue. Yes, by the tongue. Then you have to keep swinging them until you slam them into his body. Here we see the hands work as shields as well, since there's a good chance you'll hit a bamboo into one of the hands instead of the body. This complicates the fight a little. Of course there's also the Daredevil comet, where you have to fight this boss with just a single HP. No mistakes allowed, and let me tell you, most Daredevil comets aren't that bad, but this one is absolutely brutal. Since you have to get close to him to deal damage, you also give him the opportunity to hit you. Usually not a big deal. There's even coins you can pick up to heal, but as soon as you only have 1 HP, these coins become useless and the boss just becomes that much harder to defeat. Altogether, I think this is the best boss fight of its sort Nintendo has made to this day, although the Spin Mario Odyssey gave on it is certainly a close second. The Mummy Pokey, New Super Mario Bros. The boss by itself is just okay, but it represents something bigger. In New Super Mario Bros. There's 8 worlds in total, but some of the worlds are on split paths. This boss is the first to be at one of those split points. If you fight this guy the normal way, you'll go to World 3, but if you manage to get into this fight and win with a mini mushroom, you fall down to the floor and suddenly you find yourself in World 4. The boss does get a lot more interesting if you're small though, because usually you just jump on his head a couple of times and you win, but now you have to use the ground pound, which means you have to line up Mario with the boss in the small amount of time you have with him above the ground. If he just pokes out his head, just ignore him, there's no way in hell you're hitting him. If he comes out halfway, you have to be quick, but you can hit him with a well-placed ground pound, but if he comes out all the way you have plenty of time. The issue being you can't jump that high, so you'll have to wall jump to be able to hit him. Even with the extra time you get when he comes up all the way, it isn't easy to do as you still have to line up small Mario with the boss and then do the ground pound. Then again, you could also just get a mini mushroom stored in your inventory and use it after you beat the boss to unlock the next world. It's not in the spirit of the game if you ask me, but the fact that you can do this more or less kills the fun to me. Why handicap myself while the game offers me an easier alternative? Mega Goomba, New Super Mario Bros. It's a Goomba, but mega. It comes as no surprise that this is the boss of World 4, which is based on everything being big since you're small after entering as Mini Mario. The reason I like this fight is the opposite of why I like final dungeons in Final Fantasy. In those games you see things that used to be bosses as regular encounters. In truth, usually these enemies are many times more powerful than their actual early game bosses, because those would be one-hit kills by now. So then, when you turn that idea around and make a boss fight out of the most basic enemy in your game, you got me interested, and honestly, it's a really enjoyable boss to play. You have to jump around him constantly trying to hit him, but he moves surprisingly quickly. Again, you have to ground pound this boss. Not just as Mini Mario, you have to ground pound him whichever you are, excepting Mega Mario of course. I guess just jumping on him would be enough in that case. You trigger a switch which makes platforms appear that elevate you to the proper height so you can actually jump on top of them to line up your ground pound. While this sounds easy, doing all of this while you're being chased by a gigantic Goomba is a little stressful to say the least. In a way you could say that just scaling up an enemy isn't very creative, but if you ask me, the way you add mechanics and gameplay to such scaled up enemies shows the creative game design, and Mega Goomba is a perfect example of this. This definitely is one of those bosses where you want to have a fire flower to deal some easy damage, or like I said before, a Mega Mushroom, which would make this ridiculously easy. Then again, a Mega Mushroom is one hit on most bosses in this game, I'm pretty sure. It seems like the proper way to take out a Mega Goomba though. Mecha Wiggler, Mario Odyssey. First off, anything with the word mecha deserves to be on this list. Robots are, by definition, badass. But of all the enemies in the Mario universe to be turned into a gigantic robot, the Wiggler wouldn't have been my first guess. Lucky I don't work at Nintendo, I suppose, because it ended up being an amazing choice. Also, this guy has won the battle before it even started, throwing Mario off a skyscraper like that. How do you even survive that? Since Wigglers are segmented, it's a great way for some HP that works in a dynamic way. It's more than just hit the dude a couple of times. You have to hit every segment on his body before he takes any real damage. So button mashing isn't as much of an option, you'll have to actually aim for this one. Then there's the fact that you have to fight this boss as a tank. Yes, a literal tank. I mean, I don't know why you expect me to elaborate on that. I think it's pretty obvious. You're a tank. His attacks are actually pretty difficult to dodge and use the full 360 degrees of the arena around you, making sure you never feel quite safe when you don't see him, which will be pretty often since being a robot apparently also comes with the power to create instant wormholes. As I said before, this guy is a real badass, and to think this is only the end of the first half of the Metro Kingdom. After this there's still a lot more missions to do. It's a little strange having a boss near the beginning of a world instead of the very end, but for some reason it just works in this case. On a side note, it's interesting how good it looks to combine the colourful particles this boss makes with the desaturated and bland background made by the fighting arena. The only real issue I have with this fight is the field of view you get as the tank, which makes it a little difficult to find a boss, but that's more of an issue with the tank capture, not with this boss. Mega Lag, Mario Galaxy. Was this obvious? Because if you know me, this should have been obvious. Why? Well, because it's big. I like big boss fights. This guy is bigger than the planet you fight him on. Literally, he has his own gravity. You jump onto his leg and run up his body, using his own bullet bills against him to break down his defenses and get the power star. It's almost a little like Shadow of the Colossus, which I have to admit I still have not yet played. But boss fights like these make me want to pick up that game and play it. It just feels so good to beat a boss fight that's so large you can actually walk, run and jump on it. That's not a boss fight, that's a level. Yet, you can still kill it in the end. I suppose seeing something this big means we all assume it's powerful too, and killing something powerful means we're powerful. Is that the meaning of life? Have we just found the meaning of life? Okay, now I'm just stalling for time at this point, because the reason I like this boss fight is that easy. It's huge, and that works well for a boss fight. Nothing more to it, really. Funny really how the reasoning for the number 1 spot on this list is by far the simplest and the shortest of this list. Makes you think about all the overanalyzing we do so often. Thank you all for watching this top 5. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like below this video and subscribe to keep up to date with all my new uploads. While you're down there, let me know what your favorite Mario bosses were in the comments, and until next time, bye.